Does society, through discrimination, drive evolution? One could take a look at three different variables. The first one being how attractive someone is. Now, it seems that people who are more attractive have simplified an attractiveness halo. In other words, in every conversation, this might more or less contribute towards a more positive outcome compared to population average. Police academies and also schools in many countries sort through children or sort children and put them into different buckets, which is known as the different schools that are available in countries. So there is obviously also intelligence discrimination. One could ask the question whether this is justified or useful, or one could take a backseat and for now just observe. Now the third metric could be summarized, especially in the male space, as physical dominance. If a lion competes against another lion for territory, then the lion with more physical dominance wins. Now, while we are humans, we also obviously are animals. And so this and the past of this obviously being present in street fights, in boxing, etc., probably also to a certain extent contributes towards an evolutionary drift that stems from the advantage of being physically more dominant. At the end of the day, especially on the male side of the population, there is quite a little bit of competition. On historic average, 40 to 60% of males, human males, did not have offspring, which means evolution gambles on the male side. And the gambling is so strong that every second male that is born, historic average, was basically evolutionary win. Every second male had to exist because traits vary, and every new human is kind of an experiment. And of course, it's not just an experiment for any, but in this case, for the females. The males that were chosen by the females were the ones who then had offspring. And if we now compare these two numbers, on the male side, if we just assume now 50%, then on the female side, 80%. 80% of females, historic average, had offspring, which means that every fifth female only was an evolutionary unsuccessful experiment. But every second male was and still is. Now, is this the intent? Of every single human on this planet to discriminate against the parts of the population that some gene drive in them thinks are less useful? Probably not. And on the female side, this creates a paradox, as the female side is probably evolutionarily, psychologically, more biased towards empathy compared to the male side, who probably, for the most part, cannot really afford to be too empathetic. This creates a paradox, which is that females might have empathy for males, but the empathy does not drive them to date them. So the evolutionary mate selection psychology is stronger than the otherwise, probably especially on the female side, present for egalitarianism.